This is True Crime Tradies. Listener discretion is advised. Pussies.
Yeah, welcome back to True Crime Tradies. It's been a couple of weeks. Actually, I thought I was replaced when I was away. I went overseas for about 2 weeks, and Chris releases a brand new addition to our podcast with a new host, Luke. And I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy? Go away for 2 weeks and I'm replaced. But anyway, we are back and we're in sort of normal mode again. This episode's probably going to get released a little bit later than normal. We'd hope to really drop the episodes on Tuesday, but we are recording this on a Monday. There's no chance for that this week. But I'm going to edit it as quick as we can. We'll get it out there for you guys to enjoy. And we're back to our weekly episode format. So without further ado, what have we got this week, Chris?
This week we've got The Imposter. I've been looking forward to this one for a little while now. I enjoyed this one when it first came out years and years ago. And it's the whole story has just really stuck to me. And I'm curious to see your take on this one, because I remember the first one we watched a long time ago, we had differing opinions at the end of it. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you think.
I wish I knew what I said back then, because I got no idea. I had a real limited memory of what this whole thing was about. Like I said last time, it was like watching it for the first time for me, and it is a bonkers story. But look, we're going to head straight into it, and as we always do, we're going to start with the preview.
Hello. We found a kid here. He's about 14, 15 years old.
The thought of what somebody could have done to him, it gives you nightmares.
He doesn't have no IDs, no documents on it. He's very scared.
From as long as I remember, I wanted to be someone else.
We had no idea what kind of person we were getting. He had changed so much.
There was just something wrong about it.
I mean, who wouldn't see it?
We start off seeing this old home video taken by a young boy. It's his sister's birthday, saying how beautiful she is. Then the camera pans back around to him, and he introduces himself as Nick.
This is Carrie from her bed. This is the birthday girl's mattress and everything else. She even got the TV in her room. Ain't she lucky? That's my sister. The birthday girl. Isn't she beautiful? And here is her brother, Nick.
We go to the footage from today, and it's the boy's sister from the video, Carrie, and his mum talking about Nicholas going missing back in 1994. And they felt that the whole disappearance was pretty hidden by the media. It wasn't really spoken about too much.
The thought of what somebody could have done to him, it gives you nightmares. It really does.
His disappearance never made the news. It wasn't news to them. So just news to us.
They felt this whole disappearance back in 1994 just really went unspoken. The media didn't really pay attention to the story much.
It came to the point where you know you're not going to find him alive, but you just want to find what happened to him.
So we see on the screen that now it's 3 years and 4 months after the disappearance, and we hear a reenactment of an emergency phone call in Spain. The muffled caller, he's basically saying that they're tourists and they found a young teenage boy in a phone booth, and he's alone and he's really scared, and it seems to be Nicholas.
Yeah, we've got no idea what's going on at this stage.
That's right, yeah. But we're right in the thick of it already.
They called me at work when I wasn't there, and they wrote a message and said, someone from Spain has Nicholas. He wants to come home.
My mom called me. I was at work, and she says, are you sitting down? You're not going to believe this.
So before you think, no, the mum is not the old lady from the Goonies, okay? She died in 1988.
Kids suck.
She sounds like she's a 10-pack-a-day smoker or something, and 1 pack away from sounding like the robot voice from the Beastie Boys' Intergalactic song.
Well, I hope you feel really bad, because I did some research and her vocal cord was actually paralyzed, and that's why she sounds that way.
Oh my God. I do apologize. I mean, we're going to have fun with the victim's family. Like, I just couldn't help myself. That voice is just too funny not to mention. But, oh God, poor woman.
You're terrible, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it. They were super excited. They were just like, oh my God, this is out of the blue. Like 4 years later, they finally found Nicholas, you know, and as we said, like, there wasn't much media coverage of it, so it's really come out of left field for them. And this family, they're really sort of low to middle class American family. And so they live out in Texas. I think the Steve says at one point, Spain. Where's Spain? Isn't that on the other side of the country?
You know, Spain? Isn't that like across the country? How did he get there? You have like 100,000 questions that you want answered immediately.
Poor Carrie's got no idea. I mean, bless her heart. She seems just so oblivious to anything outside of her little bubble.
Oh, 100%. Then we get this ominous music, and you can tell something's up. The tape does this little rewind type of thing, and all of a sudden we're back in Spain of the night of the phone call to the police. This is where we're introduced to a new character, but we don't actually find out his name from the bottom third. So he's a bit of a mystery guy.
From as long as I remember, I wanted to be someone else. Someone who was acceptable. The most important thing for me, and what I learned very fast, was to be convincing. When the police arrived, I have immediately to put into their mind that they have a kid in front of them, not an adult. So it was very important for me to behave like one.
He's just letting the cops make the assumptions about what might be wrong with him or what might have happened to him. He made them ask him if he was sexually abused by the way he was acting. And he let them come up with the assumptions because it made them feel like they came up with the idea, so it was more real, and it gave him power by doing so.
I wanted to provoke on them a sense of guilt. When you see a kid that, get nervous reflexes, that you can't touch him, you can't approach him, then you understand that something is wrong. I wasn't the one who was telling them I've been sexually abused. I made them ask me that. By my attitude, by my way of doing things, they were the one who were thinking about it. And that gave me power.
Then we see a video from the police station, and he's completely covered in this huge jacket, his big hood over his head. He's got a beanie, a scarf around his neck, sunnies. He's completely hiding who he is. And they're pushing this, like, who are you? No, we need a name. Where are you from? But he just doesn't say a word. He's just dead silent. And he knows the police just can't keep him in the police station forever. So they're going to have to put him into a children's home at some stage. And that's basically all he wanted. He just wanted to be off the streets into this home. Then he could get bed, food, warmth, and essentially friends.
Nobody ever gave a damn about me. And to know that if I changed my identity, the reward was eventually to be put in a place where actually they really cared about me. And hell yeah, I mean, I was reborn. I was born again. Nobody ever gave me a childhood, because to give a kid a childhood, you need to love that kid. They didn't know that I was 23 years old. I was considered like one of them.
Kind of feel sorry for him, actually, after hearing that. And he says that he never had a childhood, no one gave a damn about him. He's he's doing it essentially to be feel. Don't shake your head.
No, look, I don't feel sorry for him. And the reason why, I mean, yeah, it's a sob story from him, but you can tell from the very start that he is a master manipulator. He's a complete sociopath. The way he describes about being in this phone booth and like the cops coming to talk to him about hiding his face and being quiet, he needs to think like a child, all these little things. Like, he is so smart and he's so good at making people believe he is something that he is not. I mean, how much of what he says at this start or even throughout the documentary could be complete bullshit. So I really don't feel sorry for him at this stage.
Yeah, okay. Well, as you said, he's pretending to be this kid, and we find out that he is 23 years old at this stage. So I was thinking, well, why not just go into a homeless shelter then if he's living on the streets? But I think for him more, it was that emotional attention and a feel for a family that he was after. He never got a childhood, and that's what he's after. A shelter offers comfort, but not safety.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying now. I mean, maybe I do feel a bit sorry for him now. Maybe you changed my mind.
You're easily swayed like me.
Yeah.
So we head on back to San Antonio, Texas, and this is where we hear from Nicholas's mum. Do you want to jump in here, JP?
No.
About what happened the day that Nicholas went missing.
I told him to be home by dinner and gave him $5 to go play basketball. And he took off. When I woke up, Jason was there and said that he had called and wanted to ride home, but Jason didn't want to wake me up. So told him he had to walk home. And that's what's the day, the last time we heard from him.
His mum gave him $5. We're talking about, this was 1994, wasn't it? Something like that. So $5 is a fair bit of money to just go play basketball. Could have easily have just gotten a bus ticket and just pissed off from there. So who knows, like, what's happened with him from here?
Yeah, the mother thinks that he might have actually got in the car with someone just to try and get a ride home, because she says that he's that type of kid.
Yeah, but it was only like a couple of miles for him to walk. Back in the 90s, you're riding your bike you're walking everywhere. Maybe he was just that type of kid and he just couldn't be fucked walking. Who knows? Yeah,
possibly. They're going through every different kind of emotion you could imagine, and they're just still holding hope that he might resurface. I feel really bad for this family. But now this is where we head back to our guy in Spain, and he's talking about the children's home that he's now in.
Unfortunately for me, it was one of those places which is very rare in Spain, where actually they can't stand having a kid with no identity card, no proof of who he is. They wanted absolutely to know who I was, where do I come from. They needed to know precise. If you don't tell us, if you can prove us who you are, I'm going to have you fingerprinted and your pictures taken. I couldn't allow that to happen. I had to find a way out of that. So the only thing left there was 1, go to prison, 2, prove to them that I'm someone.
So now he's got to try and prove to them somehow that he's a 14-year-old kid, and he's shitting himself because he's thinking, there's no way I can let them fingerprint me, otherwise the whole jig is up. He's got to try and think on his toes here. So he says he's an American boy and he's a runaway. From here, he said, well, I'm willing to contact my family, but he doesn't want to do it when anyone's around because of the time difference between America and Spain. So he convinces them to let him use the office overnight and the phone and the fax and the computer to try and contact his family. And of course, they think, oh, he's this poor little lost boy, everything like that, dramas. So they agree and they let him.
Yeah, here's the keys to the evidence locker. Here's all the passwords. Just look up anything you want. It's fine. We trust you.
Very trusting.
Yeah.
So he starts calling around the police stations in America and starts telling them that he's a police officer, and he eventually gets a phone number for the Center of Missing and Exploited Children.
Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Lorraine speaking. How may I help you?
We have a kid in shelters, certainly is American, who is about 14, 15 years old. The problem is we don't know who he is. We don't know. I described myself. Where he comes from. Every details I gave was details that I know that I could handle. I wanted to be vague enough for her to look at many different things. I wanted her to have many possibilities.
Let me just take a look here.
I got maybe something. She said, maybe, we got a kid from San Antonio missing since June 13, 1994. His name is Nicholas Barclay.
So they end up sending a fax over with the details of Nicholas Barclay and a photo of him. So he's thinking, well, this kid's been missing for 3 to 4 years, so there'll definitely be a change. And if there's a change, there's doubt. And if there's doubt, I've got a chance.
That's right. And the photo that they fax over is like quite grainy as well. It's black and white. So he hasn't really got a good amount of detail of what he looked like.
It's worse than Juan's mugshot from the mugshot.
I took the phone and I told her that this is Nicholas. We got him. It's him. It's incredible. It's him.
Then our old mate in Spain manages to get Nicholas's family on the phone, and he's actually pretending to be at work at the children's home and pretending that Nicholas is sitting there right with him.
When she called, I said that Nicholas was seated next to me, but he was very scared, he was very traumatized, and he didn't want to talk to no one.
He sounded very responsible, very concerned.
He claims that he's been abused, that he's been hurt, that certainly he's been abducted.
I kind of thought he was like a social worker type of person. Very reassuring.
She said, is he saying anything? Is he talking about us? Does he remember?
Well, actually, I think he forgot about everything, you know. He doesn't remember very much. He remembers you, but not very much.
We were told he was held by some kind of like a sex slave kind of ring, and that he had escaped from there, and that he was found wandering the streets.
She was heartbroken, but at the same time, she was very happy.
I wanted to hear his voice.
No, absolutely, there was no way I was going to talk to her pretending to be Nicholas, because I wasn't Nicholas and she was his sister. So that would have been a risk, too big a risk for me. But I did say a few words. She said, hello, Nicholas. You hear me, Nicholas? Nothing. I love you, Nicholas. I want to take you back home with me. I'm going to take you, baby. I'm going to come and get you. And maybe you're here. You know?
Love you.
And something like that, you know. And very far away. And then she said, was it him? I said, yeah, he said, I love you. Oh, and then she started crying on the phone.
Well, you start crying and you tell him we're going to come get you and bring you home. We'll get there. We're going to bring you home. And I love you too.
I washed her brain.
He isn't remorseful at all here. At first I thought sensed a hint of regret in him, but the way he just seems so proud of what he's done and the way he says, like, I washed her brain. Fuck you, man. And the other thing he mentions, I didn't stop because I didn't think to. He didn't look at himself in the mirror and tell himself to stop. If only that was a reasonable excuse in life. You get caught shoplifting or something. Oh, I didn't think to not do it. And they don't sell mirrors here, so what am I going to do? You know, like, that's just full of shit. That's my issue with him.
It's definitely not his first time doing this.
No.
And to him, these people in America, they're just names on a piece of paper to him. He doesn't know them. He doesn't give a shit. He's just trying to get what he wants. So now this is where he's starting to think, possibly I've gone a little bit too far with this. He even says to himself, he's no longer creating a fake identity. He's stolen one.
I realized that I've crossed the line. I wasn't pretending no more to have another identity. I stole one.
So we meet Special Agent Nancy Fisher from the FBI, who looks more like Karen from the HR department.
Yeah, she really does. So she's definitely got the Karen haircut going on. Yeah. She's got the high heels on. Like that's how you get introduced to her. She's like walking down the hallway, but you don't see her. You just see her shoes.
Yeah,
walking.
If you say, "Oh, we've got an FBI agent," she's the last thing you'd possibly imagine.
Yeah, she could even just be the lunch lady that works in the canteen.
Yeah.
Have some more sloppy joes. That won't be my last Billy Madison reference, by the way.
I hope not. So Karen from HR finds out that Nicholas escapes a sex trafficking ring and has been found in Spain. So she and this guy, Philip French from the US Embassy in Spain, work together to organise an interview with Nicholas immediately because they're trying to stop this child sex traffic ring and hopefully save more children, essentially.
Well, you'd hope that that's what their goal is, yeah.
I got a phone call. Would you please call a Carrie Gibson? Well, I was astounded by what Carrie said. So one of the first things I said to her was, When the FBI and the U.S. State Department assist you and get you and your brother back here, I have to interview him immediately.
When the welfare of a minor is in jeopardy, our reaction has to be very quick, very responsive. We have to put ourselves in the position of the child or the child's parents or guardians.
Karen, the lunch lady, says it's super rare to actually find a child that's been missing for 3 to 4 years, and to find them alive is super rare. And overseas, that's unheard of. This is crazy. Meanwhile, a package is sent to the children's home about Nicholas, and the imposter is able to intercept it.
Yeah, what the fuck? Who's managing all this, by the way? Because like, all these agencies around the world, he's receiving faxes, he's receiving calls, he's receiving letters. Who's working at these places?
It's very loosey-goosey at this child home.
It's very loosey-goosey. I want to live there. What the fuck?
The next day, it got beyond my control. The Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent me a flyer with the picture of Nicholas at the time of his disappearance. And I saw what real Nicholas looked like, really, with colors and everything. He was very blonde, he had blue eyes. He looked nothing like me. Nothing. The only thing he had in common with me was that he had 5 fingers at each hand.
Now he's kind of regretting how deep he is in this whole thing. And the embassy, they're on their way, and also the family of Nicholas.
Yeah, but you say he's regretting it. He's like, he's in too deep, but he hasn't got regret for what he's done and what he's doing to the family. He's regretting, like, I'm going to get caught and I'm going to end up in jail or in trouble. That's why that's
definitely his main concern.
Yeah.
So he hightails it out there. He runs away from the children's home, but they find him and they bring him right back there.
That's right. He's hitchhiking. And in the video, they make it look like he's hitchhiking. He just gets picked up by the agency. Hey, you, Nicholas? You know what I mean? It's like in horror films where the people get away from the chicks running through the bushes. She comes out into a main road, and the first car that comes along is the bloody guy that's trying to kill her. That's the scenario they set up here. And it's like, there's no way that's how it happened. But yeah, like you said, they brought him straight back.
Yeah, that's all right. And the next morning he's woken up in the children's home and he's told, oh my God, you must be so happy, mate. Your sister's on her way right now. So he's freaking out.
Fuck.
So the sister, Carrie, she's super nervous about flying and obviously anxious to finally see her missing brother, Nicholas.
I'd never left the country. I didn't know even what it entailed.
Yeah, she's like, can we just drive there? Isn't it like a 30-minute drive to Spain? But to be fair for Karen, like I said before, she's in this bubble. That plane ride for her must be brutal because I researched. I'm very good researcher, as you know. 9 to 10 hour plane ride from Texas to Spain. And for someone that's never been on a plane before and she's gone alone, she's never been overseas, would have been absolutely brutal for her. I can only imagine.
Oh, that's nothing. It took you 24 hours to get back from Canada 2 days ago.
Yeah, I can still feel it too.
So the imposter, he's super nervous too because he's thinking, how can I pretend to be someone that I don't even know? I don't even know if this kid's left-handed or right-handed. He ends up buying a packet of hair dye and dyeing his hair blonde. And he also read in the document that Nicholas has 3 tattoos. And I found this crazy. This kid's 13 years old and he's got 3 tattoos.
Yeah, it's like, how is nobody noticing all this shit going on? You know, people aren't looking at his fresh tattoos and they're all scabbing up. How does he think he's actually going to get away from it? And yeah, like, they've completely dozed the fact that a 13-year-old has multiple tattoos. It's like you said, like, who's parenting this kid?
Yeah, sorry. That's so crazy to me.
Oh, mate.
So he gets a girl from the shelter to give him a couple of the tattoos. He gets the letter T on his left hand between the thumb and forefinger, letter J on his left shoulder, and the letters L and N on the side of his ankle. So, I don't know.
I'd love to know what they all meant.
I think he was just learning his alphabet. And he covers up his face as much as possible because obviously if Carrie, the sister, comes out and looks at this guy who's a 23-year-old man, she's going to say, that's not my brother.
Yeah.
So he ends up getting this big hooded jacket, huge sunglasses like he's fucking Elton John or something like that, a scarf that goes up to his nose. He's covering everything possible. And he's thinking, if she can't see me, she doesn't know who I am. So she finally makes it to the children's home and she's waiting outside for him. And he doesn't want to come out because he's just shitting himself. But eventually he has to.
Minutes before she arrived, I was convinced it was finished. that I was going to get arrested, maybe beat up also, because they were not going to be happy about it. Finally, when I heard someone knocking at the door and said, "Hey, Nicholas, your sister is downstairs. She's waiting for you. She's there." I was sure that as soon as the sister was going to see me, she was going to say, "But the fuck is that?" You know? That's not Nicholas. Oh, I waited maybe 10 minutes. I knew I was about to lose everything. I knew that I couldn't wait no more, that I couldn't go away, that I couldn't just disappear. So I opened the door and I went down.
So she sees him and she's like, "Oh, I remember that nose. You look just like Uncle Pat." And he couldn't believe it. So he's confused about the whole situation. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He fully expected her to be like, "You're not my brother. What the fuck?" And looking at his nose as well, his nose didn't look anything like the original nose you see on 13-year-old Nicholas as well.
Yeah,
thinking, okay, whatever.
This whole thing is crazy, seeing the photos of him.
The way he looks in the show, like the reenactments of him, he looks like the actor that plays Stan in the Eminem film clip. He's got this dirty, bleached blonde hair and this big nose, and does not look like a 16-year-old at all.
Yeah, that's a good picture, actually. Yeah. So Carrie and the imposter, they end up going to the visitor's room, and Carrie, she's showing all these different family photos.
We went to the visit room, and she showed me dozens of pictures. You remember, this was with Mom at the house we were living in before you went missing. Remember, this was when you were playing with Scotty. You remember, this was...
And he was like, "Jason looks the same. Cody's gotten pretty big, huh? Mom looks exactly the same. She got put on weight." Wanted to know if Grandpa was still an asshole. Told me how much he loved Grandma and he missed her. Well, I remember seeing the tattoo, the cross between his, right here on his hand, and I just kept thinking how much he looks like Uncle Pat and how Mom was going to be really surprised how tall he was.
He finally goes through and he's talking to the judge and the embassy official, and they want to make sure that it's 100% Nicholas Barclay before giving him a US passport and allowing him to leave with Carrie. So they say, "Okay, we're going to show you a series of photos that only you could know. A stranger would not know these photos. And you have to identify them. And then that'll be proof." They lay out 5 photos, and they're the photos that Carrie was just showing him. So he's like, "Oh, easy. Yeah, that's Uncle Pat, that's Mum, that's blah, blah." So he nails 4 out of the 5. He gets 1 wrong. But by this stage, the judge and the embassy official are thinking, "Oh, fuck, what's
Close
the chances
enough.
of getting any of those right?"
That's
bang.
right.
Yeah, that's it, mate. You're in. So
We believe you.
So they believe him. And then that was it. They gave him his passport, gave him stamped, and he finally has to take all of his face coverings off that he's been hiding to get his passport photo. We're laughing because this photo is ridiculous.
And we'll put it on the socials, but this is the one part I just started laughing out loud because he looks so ridiculous. He's still got the scarf on. He's got this terrible bleach blonde hair.
It's terrible. I think I just sent you a photo of the before and after as well. But I want to send you a photo of me when I was, I reckon, about 11.
Okay.
And it's a side-by-side of myself and Nicholas. I could pass a Nicholas easy.
You absolutely could. Yeah.
And yes, I'm wearing a Michael Jordan t-shirt in that photo.
Yeah. How many tattoos you got then?
Only 3. I was a bit of a pussy. So this guy, it's crazy. He honestly looks like a 37-year-old man with a shitty blonde wig on.
They took picture of me with no hat, with nothing, which was, they saw my eyes. Under the Constitution of the United States, I swear to be a U.S. citizen, and, it wasn't real, but I did it.
So the imposter and Carrie, they're in the hotel room the night before flying back out to America. He's thinking, if I go there and then I see Nicholas's mum, the rest of the family, I'm 100% going to be found out. So he starts thinking, all right, I'm going to make a run for it here. But then he starts thinking also, well, my childhood was so shit. I just want a life of love and acceptance and to be part of something.
Yeah,
So
he's already been kissed on the dick so much already. His luck might continue. He just needs to get to America.
When I was born, I don't think there was much love. My mother was very, very young at the time when she was only 17 years old. Met an older man, which was my father from Algeria. My grandfather was a very racist person, and knowing that the man that my mother spent the night with is an Algerian, he wanted absolutely my mother to have an abortion, to get rid of me even before I was born.
He's finally going to be part of this family and feel like he belongs. He goes with Carrie to America, and Carrie says how nervous he was the entire time and that he was constantly watching her. But he also claims that she was constantly watching him the entire time as well. They arrive in Texas and we find out the entire family is going to be at the airport and meet him at the gates. And we actually see the home footage of it and him coming up the gates with Carrie. And it's crazy you got to see that footage. It was really cool.
Yeah, it is. And he looks like he's dressed again, like he's gone to Antarctica. Full gloves. He's got the scarf on. The footage is quite grainy, but you see him there. And it's a crazy moment in the documentary because there's a bit of disbelief there. There's so much joy coming from the family, but you know it's bullshit, so you're sad for them. But at the same time, at what point does it stop being sad? It sort of starts becoming embarrassing. It's so awkward. He looks ridiculous. And you could tell no one wanted to be the bad guy. Well, seriously, no one wants to be the bad guy so far at this point to say this is clearly bullshit.
Yeah, something's up. Something's dodgy. So the mum, she says, well, actually, I'll just get the mum to say it. Hey, Bev, you come over here. Can you just...
Oh my God, I was so happy to see him. I couldn't believe it.
Thanks, Bev.
Thanks, Bev. So everyone...
Well, you had me convinced Bev was here with us.
What are you talking about? There was her.
Yeah.
So everyone's at the arrival gates, except for the brother Jason, which is sus. And you find out a little bit more about that later on. So all the family, they're embracing him, and they're just saying how much he's changed, and it's absolutely mind-boggling. But then they're saying, well, I mean, he's been through so much, so of course there's going to be a huge change with him as well.
I wanted to run and grab an oldie, but he held back. So I walked down and grabbed his hand and hugged him and told him I missed him. He had changed so much. It was like mind-boggling. But then I realized, you tell yourself, well, he's been through all this horrendous stuff, so he's absolutely going to be different.
They're thinking he's covering up his face because he's probably been tortured and he's hiding scars and cuts. But as you said, they've fully embraced him. They've accepted him. And they're not pushing for any questions or answers or stories about what's going on. They just want him to open up when he's good and ready.
Yeah, my first question to him would have been, man, what's up with the two hats? He's wearing a hat that's forward, and he wears a hat underneath that hat that goes backwards. Yeah, and I assume it's just to cover up his shitty hair. It's the only thing I can think of. I was like, what is going on, mate? That would be my first question. Not where you've been for the last 3 years. Man, what's up with the hats?
That's right, yeah. Watch this documentary purely to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So, this poor imposter, he's finally got a family he's been longing for. Poor guy.
I was very cold, very closed. I didn't speak to people. As much as I was happy, I didn't show it.
Now he's in Texas, and it's a stark contrast from the streets of Spain and Paris. They're driving around looking at all the old sites from the town where Nicholas grew up, and they're chatting to a few people from the town where Nicholas knew when he was a bit younger. And obviously this imposter, he doesn't know who they are, but he's just saying, oh, I don't really remember because of the trauma. But he noticed that in a couple of photos at Nicholas's house that he used to do this wave with sort of 2 fingers and his thumb out. So he starts doing that to everybody, and then hopefully that's enough for people to go, oh yeah, that's how Nicholas used to wave. I must be him.
Imagine his nervous system at this stage. Since he come up with this bullshit story to begin with, and now it's a reality, and he's in America, and he just must have been on edge the whole time. Oh, he could have been loving it, but even for him being a sociopath the way he is, he must have thought at any moment that the jig could be up.
Yeah, well, he says that his biggest fear was Nicholas could just walk through the door any day, and then he's just going to be sitting there going, oh, Hi.
That's right. And he thought that was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, it actually could have made the story even better, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah. He even goes to school over there and he starts liking a girl in the neighborhood. And I'm just imagining like a 23, 24-year-old guy going to high school in America. It's just like 21 Jump Street.
And another Billy Madison, I'm just thinking of him outside the school bus. Oh, back to school. Totally ridiculous scenario, but it's reality at this point,
That's right. So, as we said before, Jason, his brother, was the only one that didn't meet him at the airport. But he finally does get to meet him at a family gathering.
The only person I haven't met in the Barclays family was Jason, his half brother, the brother of Carrie. And finally, he came to see me. He didn't look at me like Nicholas, and he didn't pretend to look at me like Nicholas. And he said good luck to me, and he left.
He knows it's not him. And they actually don't put this in the documentary, but I did a little bit more research. And Jason actually gave him a little gold necklace that used to be Nicholas's before saying good luck to him and then leaving.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. No, you didn't tell me that little snippet of information. You sort of got me by surprise there. But I thought it was interesting. Leave it up to the junkie to see it's not him. Everyone else is clearly disillusioned, I guess, with what's going on. But no, not Jason. He's like, that's clearly not him. Good luck, man.
Meanwhile, FBI agent Nancy Fisher, she's surprised that she hasn't heard anything from the family at all. She wants to reach out and get things moving with a sex trafficking case. So she sets up an interview with Nicholas in San Antonio.
So I agreed to meet Nicholas at the San Antonio Missing Children Center to conduct our first interview. I introduced myself to Nicholas and I told him why I was there, and that the purpose of this interview was to get his account of his kidnapping and for his assistance in locating his abductors. The only thing I knew about Nicholas was what I had read on some of the missing posters. Not that people can't change in 3 years, but this person in general did not appear to be 16.
She's totally sus on him. She's thinking, there's no way this is a 16-year-old. He's got a dark shadow of a beard. And
he's got more of a beard than I do now, and I'm 42 years old. It's no way it's a 16-year-old. We keep laughing about it, but it is so ridiculous. Once you see it, you'll know what we mean.
It really is. You have to see the photos. So he ends up telling Nancy and the other agents that he was taken by the military. He was kidnapped, he was put into a van and flown to some place that he has no idea where it was. He was kept in a room with all these other kids. They were chloroformed and subjected to high-ranking military sexual abuse. Let me do that bit again. He was kept in a dark room with a bunch of other kids. They were chloroformed and they were subjected to sexual abuse from high-ranking military officials. He claimed that they broke his hands, they're putting cigarettes out on his skin, they were giving him insects to eat, he was constantly tortured. I think he said his left foot or his right foot was broken with a crowbar.
Yeah.
They were experimented on, they were putting needles into their eyes. They apparently had headphones on constantly with a Spanish person yelling at them saying, "You are not you," and if he spoke English at all, then he was beaten.
You wonder how much he's rehearsed all this, because I'm sure he has asked these questions and he's had to repeat them so many times. And from what he's described, you would expect quite a few scars, not only mental, but physical scars. And they do actually say he had some cigarette burns on him on the back of his ankle, on the back of his head. But that's pretty much it.
He did walk with a slight limp and his hand was broken and untreated as well.
Yeah, right. And then he might have been walking with a limp because he's wearing so many freaking clothes.
True, yeah.
Like, you never see any skin on this guy.
No, that's right. But this guy, he's very strategic in what he says. He says makes parts of a story that has elements of truth from his life. Yeah. Then he can back it up with. So I think he's very smart in his lies.
Yeah.
So he says the boys' identities were changed and their hair color was changed and a special solution was put into their eyes, which changed their eye color. Because this guy, he's got brown eyes, and Nicholas Barclay, he's got blue eyes. Yeah. So he's got to find an excuse for that. He says he managed to escape one night, and then that's when he was discovered in Spain by the two tourists in the phone book.
The door wasn't shut. And I left by the door. I ran on the big hallway, and there was another door. Somehow I managed to go outside, and outside I ran. And hours after that, I discovered that I was in Spain.
This person is either had been a victim himself, or he was a fantastic actor. And I didn't know which of those titles applied to him. I let them know that I was very sorry about what had happened to them, and that we were going to locate the people who had done this and put an end to the trauma that he'd been through.
So after this interview, he's thinking, that's it. Oh, I've won. Everyone believes me, including the family. The FBI believes me. I've got made in the shade here. Then all of a sudden we meet this guy, Charlie Parker, who's a private investigator.
He's Matlock.
Yes, that's right.
He's Matlock.
He should have retired 30 years ago, this guy.
Yeah, that's right. He looks like he shouldn't be driving, and they're pretty much, you see him, first time he's interviewed, he's driving his car, which is old Cadillac or some shit. So, yeah, just picture Matlock, and this is what we're dealing with.
He's 3 sunspots away from a complete tan.
Yeah.
I got a call back in November from a television producer for Hard Copy. And he said that a boy who had been missing earlier for 4 years had turned up. And he wanted me to track him down so they could get an interview with him.
Nancy from the FBI, she doesn't want anyone in the family or who she thinks Nicholas is to do any interviews with the media at all, because it's going to get in the way of the case. And obviously she doesn't want anyone in the sex trafficking ring to find out, possibly destroy evidence or get rid of the other kids or whatever the case might be. But this family, they don't give a fuck. and he does the interview anyway.
Did they rape you all every night?
Me? No, because they didn't rape me every night. Some of them, they like more. Some of the kids, they like more. They rape them usually 2 or 3 times a week.
He does this interview, and in his words, he did it to make Nicholas more real. I'm not too sure what he meant by that. Like he's trying to convince more people, so then less people start questioning him.
I would have thought him being on TV and showing his face, even though, of course, he's wearing sunglasses and a hat, it would have made him less believable because people would have seen through it. You're just putting more eyes in front of it that needed to be. He'd already pulled the wool over people's eyes. Why then bring it out? I just think this is more of an ego thing for him now. He wants to be, it's almost like he wants to be famous.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
is starting to come into it now, I believe.
Yeah, totally agree. Our private investigator, Charlie, he sits down and he watches the interview, and he's looking at a photo of Nicholas from when he went missing, and he's looking at this imposter in the interview. He's dressed like Michael Jackson, trying to hide his fucking identity. And he's thinking, there's no way this is the same person.
No, it's funny you mention Michael Jackson too, because I get massive Michael Jackson vibes from him the whole way through it. Just the way he dresses and the way he looks. But the interesting, when you're talking about Charlie, like seeing the photos next to each other, no one must have put 2 photos next to each other up until this point, because he's the first one to notice that their eye color is different. I know he mentioned his story about his changing his eye colors, but the other big thing that Charlie notices is the ears, which is a really interesting point of the story and a really good identification tool, because he mentions that he heard a story from Scotland Yard. They caught this guy and they didn't have any ID, but they were able to identify him through his ears, because apparently they're almost as good as fingerprints.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I know ears change over years, but they don't really change the shape. Like, it's more that they get bigger over years.
They continue to grow, don't they?
Yeah, that's why you see like old man like Charlie here with massive ears, because they just continue growing. But yeah, that's just a massive point. He notices from the photo and watching him on the interview, man, this is definitely not the same dude.
And so I knew right away that absolutely he was not Nicholas Barclay.
And Charlie, he almost has a fucking heart attack. And he jumps up and he says, honest to God, I thought he was a goddamn spy.
Every American just jumps to that conclusion. They don't belong in. It's a spy.
0 to 100 so fast. He thinks he's going to blow up the military base. He's gone full paranoia. He calls Nancy at the FBI, and she pretty much says, stop stepping on our investigation, you fucking clown. Leave us alone. She's thinking, why the hell would this family taking a stranger? Not only just a stranger, but a stranger from another country. It just doesn't make sense. So she's 100% a believer in this imposter.
I thought I didn't have a right to question, their statement that this is their family member, because how could they be wrong? I mean, no one would be wrong about something like that.
So a little time passes now, and as we said before, he's going to school and he's pretending that he's a 16-year-old American boy. And Nancy's still working on the case behind the scenes, and she's starting to question him a little bit, but she can't find any evidence or truth in his story at all. She organises Nicholas to go see a forensic expert in Houston, and she tells her family that he's going there to go talk to someone about his trauma.
Initially, I thought that this was going to be a forensic interview with the intent of finding out more information about the people who abducted him. Here was this pale white kid, and I introduced myself, and as he spoke back, immediately something in me just said, this is not right. There's something wrong here.
It takes this guy all of 2.3 seconds to realize this is a fucking French man sitting in front of him and not a 16-year-old kid. He says you can't grow up in an English-speaking home, leave for a few years, and then not able to speak English without a French accent. It's just not possible. I guess unless you're that English woman who woke up one morning speaking with a Chinese accent.
If you don't know what Chris is talking about there, just Google it because it's worth it. It's so good.
Now Nancy, or Kara from HR, she's pissed.
Yeah, she knows he's an imposter for sure. And this Bruce Perry bloke is interesting because he's talking about how fake Nicholas, the imposter, when he was talking about his stories, his pupils weren't dilating. His body language wasn't as if someone had gone through that trauma. But I also thought what's interesting that he's able to tell these lies so calmly, almost like he would pass a lie detector test because he is so good at doing what he does.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you wouldn't need to be an expert in this field to identify that it's not Nicholas. You just need two fucking eyes.
Yeah, that's right. It's so crazy.
It is.
Nancy, she immediately calls his sister Carrie and she said, are you sitting down? This is not your brother. We don't know who it is, but this is 100% not your brother. Stay away from him because this guy, he could be dangerous. She says, don't go to the airport to meet him. We'll take care of him and we'll figure out who this guy is. Carrie apparently shrieks and she says, oh my God. Okay, yep, no problems.
Your world would crumble, wouldn't it? It's like a roller coaster. You lost your brother. You've gotten him back. There doesn't seem to be a seed of doubt in her mind that it's not him. And then all of a sudden you get told by the FBI that, man, this is not your brother.
Yeah. So Nancy escorts the imposter back on the plane to Texas, and they haven't said anything to him yet because they want to investigate further, obviously. As they're coming down the escalator in San Antonio Airport, Carrie's standing there. She runs up to him and she throws her arms around and gives him this big hug, and she ushers him away to go home. Nancy, she's couldn't believe her eyes. She's sitting there, what the hell's this bitch's story? Like, I just told her this guy's an imposter. And now she's quickly grabbed him and then they've gone home together. She's still pretending it's her brother. She doesn't want to make any moves at the airport because of the investigation. So she just has to let them go.
She acted like we'd never had that conversation. And she acted excited to see him, asked him how his trip was. I think I just stared for a minute. And I called the U.S. Attorney's office right then and there. And I said, what do I do? And the assistant U.S. attorney said, let him return to her temporarily. I didn't have any clue as to why she behaved in this manner, because in my conversation with her, I had said, this person is not your brother.
I don't remember her putting it in those words.
I don't understand that. Who knows what he's capable of? They've just discovered it's not him. He could be dangerous. I don't understand that by the FBI. Just because we've got an investigation. No, fuck protocol at that point. Don't let him go home with her.
Well, I guess they've only just found out, though.
It doesn't matter. But they've got evidence. The facts. They've found it out. They've got the facts, I guess, in a sense. But hold him. If you've got like reasonable doubt or suspicion that this is a fraud or a spy, like Charlie was saying, hold him. Get the DNA you need to get from him at that point. Don't let him go. Anyway.
True. So at this stage, even old mate, private investigator, he's getting annoyed. Yeah. So he starts going around the neighborhood and he's finding out about the real Nicholas Barclay and Nicholas's family. All the neighborhood, they're pretty much telling him that this family, they're trouble. There always fights going on in the house. The police would visit the house 2 to 3 times a month. Nicholas was a bit of a troublemaker, and the mum would always be screaming at and fighting with someone, whether it be Nicholas, the other kids, or whichever boyfriend she had at the time.
There's something about that husky voice that really drives me crazy.
I knew that DNA samples would prove that he wasn't Nicholas Barclay. Mrs. Dollarhide said, "This is my son. I don't have to provide blood samples for you for DNA." And she lay down on the floor, literally lay down on the floor, and said, "No, and you can't pick me up and you can't make me."
I did not want to go anywhere with the FBI, but I don't remember refusing.
I was stunned. I'd never had that reaction before. She wasn't just apathetic, she was hostile.
The mum, Beverly, she just flat out refuses. This family is dodgier than the imposter. I don't know what's going on with it. But Nancy, she says she no longer saw them as a grieving family. Now she sees them as a really questionable family. And she's onto them. And she thinks they're hiding something.
Cue ominous music.
Something was being hidden, and I didn't know what that was.
When Beverly refused to give her blood sample, I started to become suspicious. They knew that I wasn't Nicholas.
Even he's becoming suspicious of the family as well, and he's wondering what's really going on here. And then he starts remembering all the photos that Carrie was showing him in Spain, and she was going through everything with him, saying, "This is your mum, this is your brother, this is this. Remember, remember, remember." And she was force feeding him all the information over and over again. Then he realized he's woken up somewhere where the lie is bigger than the one he created. He feels they're pretending more than he was.
Whatever I was telling them, they didn't believe a word of it, but they were good at not showing it. I mean, who wouldn't see it?
So the private investigator, he sees an old police report from the brother Jason that 2 months after the disappearance of Nicholas, he apparently tried to break into the house. But the police saw zero evidence that anyone had been on the property, tried to break into the house. They scoured the neighborhood and there was zero sign of Nicholas. And apparently this is a fairly common tactic to draw the investigation into another direction. And they're saying, "Oh no, he's still alive, he's still alive, he's still around. Maybe go look over there. We saw him go do this." So apparently
I
it's
don't
quite
think
common.
the family are that smart for this. You know what I mean? And Jason saying that he saw Nicholas 2 months after the disappearance. I mean, he could have been drug fucked at that stage. Who knows?
Yeah, true. That's the whole thing about this case. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's so many different things. But the private investigator, he's starting to put two and two together, and he's thinking, I reckon something happened to Nicholas in this house.
He wants something to have happened so badly.
Yeah, he does.
I kept thinking about the kid, Nicholas Barclay. At the time of his disappearance, he was living with Beverly in the house on Swallow Street. And his brother, Jason, was also living there. I started to put 2 and 2 together, and I thought something happened inside that house to that boy.
I didn't need to be Columbo to put all the pieces together. They killed him. Some of them did it, some of them knew of it, and some of them choose to ignore it.
Behind the scenes, the FBI, they've been working on discovering what's actually going on. Fake Nicholas isn't cooperating, and neither is his mum Beverly or anyone else in the family for that matter. So they end up having to get a search warrant to obtain blood samples and fingerprints, and they send them to the world embassies and Interpol. Within a few weeks, they're going to know exactly who this person is.
Yeah, and I assume those results went straight to the imposter as well. He seems to get his hand on everything else. he gets the dirt. Yeah.
So they're really worried that he's going to panic and he's just going to take off and just go hide somewhere in America. He's going to be a fugitive. So the private investigator, he finishes his early bird special at the Del Boca Vista, and he starts tailing him.
Did you say Del Boca Vista?
Yeah. Did I say that wrong?
I don't know. I think you might have.
What is it?
Del Boca Vista.
Del Boca. Hang on, I'm going to write it down. Bel Doca? No.
Del Boca Vista.
Okay, I have to write it down.
Yeah, try that again.
All right. So the private investigator, he ends up finishing his early bird dinner at the Del Boca Vista, and he starts tailing him. I still stumbled through it.
I started tailing him. I started following him. I started sitting up on Beverly's place where she lived and writing down license numbers of all the cars that came to her, see her. He agreed to meet with me. We ordered hotcakes, and we started to eat.
The investigator, he's thinking, I'm going to try and catch him out here. This is going to be my big moment. And he says, you know, you really made your mother angry. And to his surprise, the imposter just looks him dead in the eye and says, "She's not my mother, and you know it." At the same time this is happening, Interpol hit on a fingerprint and had faxed over information to Nancy on who he really is.
On March 3rd of 1998, the Legat in Madrid, Spain, called me, and he said, "We've just identified him." And I said, "You're kidding." He said, "What I'm going to do right now is fax to you the records that I have." I was like doing a dance, and everybody was high-fiving, and it was just like, we finally know who this person is.
And I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Frederick Bourdin, and I'm wanted by Interpol."
So that's it. The jig's up. He's arrested and he's taken away. But he decides he's going to tell the San Antonio Police Department about his suspicions that this family killed Nicholas. So an investigation actually does open up to investigate the family for the disappearance.
Yeah, because you're going to believe this bullshit artist. You got a suspicion? Oh, shit, we better investigate that.
Well, they do, because they opened up. So he claims that Beverly told him that Jason killed Nicholas and she helped cover it up to hide the body. Beverly was actually asked to take a polygraph test by Agent Fisher, and during the test she was asked if she knew the whereabouts of Nicholas. She seemed to pass the question, but they wanted to do it again, and she passed the second time.
Yeah.
But Nancy felt like something was wrong and just something's a bit off. So she got her to do a third time, and then this is where she failed.
Well, they reckon she bombed every question after that. And I'm thinking, why are they testing her so many times? They didn't get the result they wanted the first two times. I just felt that's really unfair. So it's no wonder she blew up, and she goes berserk as well and storms out of there. I don't blame her.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts. I did a little bit more research on this one as well. They don't mention in the documentary, but Beverly also had a drug problem. As well as the brother Jason.
Surprise.
And Nancy, she actually thinks that Beverly was on drugs at the time during the polygraph.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why she waited a little bit longer for any effects of the narcotics, including methadone, could have worn off. And then after they waited that certain amount of time, then that's when they did the third test.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. A little bit of extra information.
But as you said, this is where the needle goes absolutely crazy and she storms out. They also focus heavily on the brother Jason, and he's really resistant. He refuses to speak to them at all without a lawyer. And actually 2 weeks after being pressed about being a suspect in the disappearance, Jason actually died of an overdose. And it's also important to mention here that Jason had actually, up to this point, been sober for more than a year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like Jason seems to be the only one that has his head screwed on right at this stage. I know he dies of an overdose eventually, but doesn't want to talk to anyone without a lawyer. Tick. Knows that the imposter is an imposter. Tick. It's just, poor Jason.
I think he knows it's not Nicholas because he knows what happened to Nicholas.
You think so? Okay, well, I'd like to hear your opinion at the end.
He's the only person in U.S. history ever to have assumed the identity of a missing child. Fooled even the lost boy's mother. It's hard to imagine how he could have gotten away with it.
We knew it was going to be, heart-wrenching and, but we never thought it wouldn't be him. Why would you even think that?
The first feeling was complete sadness because it wasn't Nicholas, which took us back to square one. Where is Nicholas? That was the first one. Second emotion was, how could I be so fucking stupid? I mean, seriously.
We see Charlie, the private investigator, going to the family's old house, and he finds out from the new owner that when he first moved in there, the dog would always dig around the back corner of the yard. And one day he was mowing the lawn, and there's a little bit of piece of blue tarp hanging out. So he's yanking on, but it was really in the ground. It was really buried in there. So he just ended up forgetting about it until one day when Charlie called.
There's the house right there. I think the boy's buried here. I want to talk to Daryl inside. He's agreed to let me dig and see if Nicholas Barclay's here.
I find that whole thing ridiculous, by the way. Like, my dog was sniffing around there. And if you really had thought Sutton was buried, grab a shovel, mate.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I saw a tarp sticking out of the ground, mate. I'd be spending all day out there digging a 10-foot hole. But just to him to go, yeah, too hard. I yanked on it, didn't go up, so I just left it.
Yeah. I think it's also Charlie trying to convince him that it is something as
Oh,
well.
yeah. You can imagine that phone call. I believe there's a body in your backyard.
Charlie wants his own book or a spin-off documentary
definitely
or
does.
something. He wants to be the main guy. They end up digging this big hole. I say they dig this big hole, but Charlie stands next to it while the homeowner's in the fucking hole with no shirt on with a pickaxe. While Charlie's just in a suit looking at him.
He's got his, not only is he in a suit, he's got the suspenders, you know, leaning up against the shovel. So it's not like there's only one shovel. He's got one. Get in there, Charlie.
That's right. But they find nothing. We also see our imposter, Frederick, in prison, which is weird. He's got a TV and phone right in his cell. And he's just up to his old tricks again.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, man.
Even from behind bars, he continued to lie to families of other missing children. From this phone in his cell, Bourdin made hundreds of collect calls, claiming to have information about lost children. He even said he could help solve the highly publicized case of Sabrina Eisenberg, an infant who was taken from her home in Tampa, Florida last year.
Why did you do that? You didn't have any information, did you? No. But you get on his phone and you're calling all over the world. Yes. What are you doing?
Why would they let this bloke have a phone right in the middle of his cell? They know what he's done and what he's capable of.
He's a habitual liar, and it blows my mind that anybody could take anything that is said out of his mouth as truth. He put us through enough already. And then for him to do this while he's in jail for what he's done and to cause more pain to our family, fuck him.
Now, from the FBI, they actually think that this family's involved, but they just can't prove it. And it comes up on the screen that the homicide investigation into the disappearance of Nicholas Barclay was closed due to a lack of evidence. Then we find out that Frederick was sentenced to 6 years in prison. He was deported back to France in 2003. Then 3 months later, he attempted to steal the identity of a missing 14-year-old boy, Leo Bailey.
What the fuck, man? So by this stage, he is roughly 30 years old?
Yep.
Like you said, he's back to his old tricks. So I don't know what's wrong with this guy. And he seems so proud of it as well.
That's right, yeah. He's wearing all these cons as a badge of honor.
And I found it really, really funny. They show you like footage of him being interviewed in jail, and he's doing all these Michael Jackson moves. We talked about Michael Jackson earlier. I think he thinks he's Michael Jackson. Like he's just
it's so awkward to
he's
watch.
spinning. It's like, what the fuck? He's got the curly hair. At least it's not bleached blonde anymore. I can cop that. But man, this guy is an absolute loony, and he is just loving the attention.
Yeah, he's such a fucking loser.
Yeah.
But he's still in France, and he's actually married, and he's got 3 kids of his own now. Who the fuck's marrying this guy?
Oh, he's a master manipulator. She probably thinks he's someone else. Who
that's
knows
true, yeah.
what he's told her.
So what did you think of the whole story in terms of, were the family involved? Were they just super naive, or...?
I'm thinking the latter. I'm thinking super naive. I didn't mind what you said earlier about Jason knowing because he had done something to him, but at what opportunity did Jason have to do that? I don't believe the mother was involved. Carrie, definitely not. She just seems completely, I don't know. She seems quite sweet. She's in her little bubble, like I mentioned, but she's like a deer in headlights, and she doesn't know anything about the world, and I just don't think it's in her. I mean, we're only seeing small snippets of the family and their dynamics, but I honestly don't think that the family had any involvement, and this was just them grasping at straws. You can imagine going through that as a family, losing a child, and then having the prospect of them getting them back 3-4 years later. It's almost like they were blind and they just couldn't see that it wasn't true. They wanted it to be real so badly.
But you'd have to be pretty blind for that guy to rock up.
You'd have to be pretty blind, but look, like I said, like it takes 1 or 2 people to believe it's true to then convince the others, and then for other people to not want to say anything and then start believing themselves. I don't know. It's just the whole scenario is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Carrie was involved or knows anything, basically. But I do think something happened to Nicholas from that family. I think Jason was involved. I think Mum might know a few things as well, but I was 100% on board that, yep, they killed him, they covered him up, until you find out that this imposter, he gets out of prison and he's just doing it all again.
Yeah. Like, look, I hope that's not the case, and it's convenient for the story, but in reality, there's so many kids that go missing every year in the US or around the world. It could have just been another one of those. He got abducted on the way home from walking from the basketball court and never to be seen again. You know, it's just quite possible.
I thought it was just very convenient that Jason refused to talk to the police, and then 2 weeks later, he died. I know it's easy to blame the person that can't defend themselves and use them as a scapegoat, but I don't know. I just think a few fingers get pointed in that direction.
Yeah, fair enough. So what did you think about the documentary as a whole?
I loved it. As I said, I think I said it in the last 2 episodes about
cinematic masterpiece. Is that what you're about to say?
Yes, I used that multiple times. Yes, and I stand by that. It's like the producer of this documentary wanted to make a feature film about it, and the network said, "Nah, just do a documentary." And he said, "No, fuck it. I'm going to make it like a movie anyway."
It was like an independent film. You see that at the start, and that we said at the start that it's not on any streaming platforms now. You can get it on YouTube, but yeah, it was really well done.
It's an awesome documentary. It's definitely worth watching.
I really enjoyed it as well. I thought reenactments were good. I thought the acting was good of the reenactors.
It wasn't cheesy at all.
It wasn't cheesy.
They integrated the voiceover from the actual imposter into the reenactments, which I thought was really cool. Very clever the way they did it. Definitely worth a watch.
That's right. And they got important people involved, like Karen, the lunch lady. They've done a really good job with the documentary to show the full picture, getting interviews with the mum and Carrie as well, which is really good. No, I enjoyed it. It was just a ridiculous story. The imposter himself, Frederick, like, I found him really creepy throughout. And for me, like, the scariest thing, that it's not how he was lying, it was how comfortable he was doing it. It's almost like it was a hobby for him, you know, and everyone was so gullible. Like, and we're talking about 90s. Luckily, the internet wasn't out yet, because everyone in that family would absolutely fall for a pyramid scheme. You know what I mean? They'd be sending all their money to a Nigerian prince.
He'd done it multiple times before this as well. Like, created fake identities, not stolen any identities. And he was actually on TV in France about it as well. So it's crazy that he was allowed to escape and then get away with this to such an extent as well.
Yeah, that's right. And he loved the limelight, clearly, and he would have loved doing this documentary, and I'm sure he would have demanded thousands of dollars for it. But no, incredible documentary, another incredible story, very much like Abducted in Plain Sight, was just so unbelievable. I'd recommend you go to YouTube right now and watch it.
Definitely, yeah. So what are we reviewing and watching this week, Mark?
Well, I know nothing about it. All I know is that it's an incredible documentary. I don't believe you've seen it either, but it is Dear Zachary. We'd mentioned it in episode 2 that we were going to look into it, and it had been recommended to us. I'm totally going in blind, which is how I like to do it anyway, because I don't want to have any sort of preconceived notions of what this is about. So we're going to do Dear Zachary. We're going to play the preview now.
Charismatic,
opinionated, really a good storyteller.
He had a presence.
He had the worst possible gas.
He's going to be a great doctor.
Well, the phrase I was going to use had been full of life.
Do you know who that is?
Andrew. Why did Andrew get killed?
I'm an only child, and I'll get around to why this is of any importance whatsoever.
When I had to say, was my son murdered? And then to know how cold-bloodedly.
On the afternoon of November 7th, 2001, my sister called to tell me that Dr. Andrew Bagby, my closest friend since the age of 7, had been killed. My name's Kurt, and I'm a filmmaker. Andrew appeared in every movie I made growing up.
Jesus Christ, Kurt, what do you want?
I just need...
I decided to make a movie, to travel far and wide, to interview everyone who ever knew and loved Andrew.
Kurt, I just got a call from Mrs. Bagby. The abbreviated version is that bitch held a press conference and announced that she's 4 months pregnant with Andrew's baby.
She named the little boy Zachary. My movie might be one of the only ways Zachary could see and get to know his father. So I pointed the van east toward Newfoundland and set off on a quest to bring a man back to life.
Since you've been gone, I've
but I never could have guessed what would happen next.
And since you've walked away, I just can't deal with this.
I know it's a bit of a tearjerker, another tearjerker. I was already crying my eyes out in the bloody long shot. Now I've got to sit through this one. But no, really looking forward to getting into it. And that's the end of the episode, guys. Look, if you like listening, like we love doing this, please rate and review. We're getting plenty of great feedback, but got to keep that word of mouth going because that's really allowing us to grow it and make this better than what it actually is. So, yeah, keep doing all the things. Ding the bell, follow us, listen to the episodes, and we'll keep doing what we're doing. And we actually have a really exciting announcement. We're going to be releasing a little bit more content for you guys. So we've got the main episodes that are going to drop Tuesdays, but we're going to drop short mystery type of stories. We're not going to have like audio and we're not going to be reviewing a documentary like we've been doing. It's going to be something completely different. We tell you a short story. It's going to be mysterious and we're going to drop them every Friday and we're going to call them the Freaky Fridays. So we're looking forward to that one.
That's right. Yeah. There's still true crime stories. So they're not stories that we're just making up from the top of our heads.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, they're true. They are true stories.
Yeah,
but they're just like really mysterious.
Yeah, they're ones that we find ourselves and we think, oh, that's so cool. But it's not enough to do a full episode on it. But you guys need to hear it.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to write in, as I said, we really enjoy the reviews and the feedback. So if you write in, we can read out your emails and comments on that episode as well.
Yeah, and get the discussion going on the Facebook page as well. If you are a part of the Facebook page, you got any questions for us, we'll answer them straight away. But get a discussion going on what you thought happened with Nicholas here. Wouldn't mind hearing your opinions on it because we obviously have ours, but there might be something we missed. Most likely is.
Are you team JB or are you team Chris?
Yeah. anyone that's not team JB is getting booted, just so you know. Not that I'm competitive. Anyway, mate, it was great to do another episode. I guess until
glad
next.
You're back. We did miss you.
Oh, thank you. Luke, go fuck yourself. You never come back. No, I love you, Luke. I'm sorry. I guess until next time, Chris, try not to murder anyone.
You too, mate. All right, love you.
Love you too.
Oh, you did say it back.
Bye.